Hello, guys, and good evening. Right, so welcome to Trade Partners. If you're new, I know quite a few of you are tuning in. So if you're new to the KBB ecosystem, then welcome if you're a trade partner, and welcome to the Academy members as well. And congratulations to those who have got the websites that have gone live this week and are just starting out on their journey to independence with KBB Academy, because there's plenty of people here now that are doing this, have done it, have built completely different lives off the back of KBB Academy. And it's really we probably need to make a bigger deal of when people's websites go live, because we know that this is like the birth of the whole thing. So congratulations to you guys. Make sure you stay engaged and stay tuned and stay on it moving forward, so we can get you moving properly. Remember that every Wednesday, 7 o'clock, there's always something to tune into. So obviously this week we have the KBB updates and stuff that I want to talk to you about tonight. And the other Wednesday at 7 o'clock, we have the clinic, which is business coaching for our Academy members, which is always good fun. And it's important to make sure that this is in your diary, by the way, and I do say this quite a lot. 7 o'clock on a Wednesday. If you can't watch it live, I know a lot of you watch it after, or you catch up at different times. I know you've got kids and other commitments. I know 7 o'clock at night's not always the ideal time, but if you can, try and get it in your diary, because who you hang around with matters a lot. So get in the comments, speak to each other, share your experiences. We'll reply to your comments, obviously. So, make sure that you're hanging around with the right people. This is your opportunity, 7 o'clock on a Wednesday, to hang around with the right people that can guide you where you really want to be and get you out of just, making wages. Let's make a proper future for yourself here. That's what this is about. Now, if you are an Academy member, always use your WhatsApp group. If there's something that comes up tonight you want to talk about, make sure you use your WhatsApp group. There is now a link in the description below. So if you're not an Academy member and you're watching this and you want to chat with us on WhatsApp, there's a link down there. Head to that. Let's start a conversation. If there's anything you want to know, we'll help you out there. But Academy members, you have your WhatsApp groups. You know what you're doing. And again, if you're a trade partner and you just need to pull your finger out and get involved and do whatever it is you need to do, and you're still working for wages or the sheds and doing stuff you don't really want to do, then use the link in the description below as well to book in a call, or start your journey. Let's make some changes here. That's what this is about. That's what this community is about, and that's what these events, these live little mini events, are about as well. Making sure that we're all keeping moving, whether we are brand new or seasoned veterans to the KBB world. It's still important to stay tuned, and keep it moving is always the key. And my job here is to try and get you to think differently all the time. Even if you are doing well, there's always a different level to go, and you're going to find out about that tonight, because we've got lots to talk about tonight. Especially when it comes to moving to the next level, and how we got here as well, because we've got as we're closing off this year now, middle of November, there's not long left. The event that we had, where over 50 of you attended, where we were talking about getting ready for 2026, that was a month ago nearly. This is how fast time goes. And if you've done nothing in that time and you're at that event, then come on. I know a lot of you have done stuff, and well done, but make sure that we've always got to keep moving forward. We've always got to keep going. So what we're going to cover tonight, we've got some general updates, the usual stuff that I'll inform you on. 10k a month fitting 2 kitchens. Now, you'll remember this piece of content from quite a while ago, and I've put a link to that piece of content in the description below as well, in the YouTube description box. So the 10k a month for fitting 2 kitchens. Anyway, I'll cover it in a bit. So we're going to go into that a little bit. We're going to cover Inner Circle. So the Academy has grown to a point now where we need a more strategic level of coaching, and there's going to be a lot more to Inner Circle than what people first thought. It's not just going to be a meeting where we fist pump and go, yeah, look how good we are. It's not about that. The Inner Circle is going to be a different world, and you're going to find out in a bit. And then I've got a confession to make as well, with around the Inner Circle world, and I'm not sure quite how you're going to take it. I hope you'll take it well, but I do have a confession to make about something that we've always told you that maybe isn't quite 100% true, but we'll come to that in a bit. And then we're going to talk about the key to your future wealth and what I believe. So a lot of you guys, we'll say a lot, about 8 to 9 of you have done interviews with us over the last few weeks, and we're premiering them every Sunday at 8 o'clock. Now, I've done an interview myself as well, so I haven't got off the hook. So in that interview, which you will see towards Christmas time, we will be bringing that interview. Sorry, a dry mouth. I will be showing that interview, and something is said in that interview, which was filmed a few weeks ago now. It stuck with me quite a bit, and I was thinking about it, and this is sort of what's triggered the extra bits of the inner circle that I'm going to tell you about in a bit. And obviously what I mentioned that Ben asked me on the way down the Snowdon walk, and he said, "What's next for us, Aaron?" And I was like, yeah, there needs to be something next. But at that point, I hadn't given it much thought. I just knew we were going to do these meetings, and I knew there'd be more to it, but I didn't quite know at that point what it was actually going to be. Whereas there's some clarity around it now, and I'm starting to see a few things that need to be done. Now, the key to your future wealth is going to be in one of those things, and we're going to cover that in a little while. So we've got general updates, the 10K a month for fitting 2 kitchens, inner circle, my confession, and then we've got the key to your future wealth. And yeah, I think that tonight's stream is probably, I always say, this is the most important, but for where you're at right now in terms of getting ready for the new year, this is the most important, because there's a lot of mindset things going on tonight, which you really do need to be tuned into. If you're going to make this a success and be a success yourself, there's things that you need to know. And, success is only ever rented, and the rent is due every day. You can't buy success, you can only rent it. And we rent it by working hard and being dedicated to what it is that we do. That is how we stay there. Because just because you become successful once doesn't mean that you're going to stay there. And nobody deserves just to be successful forever because they were successful for 1 month or 1 year. You've got to stay there. It's like, you can get to the top, but it's staying there that's difficult. And that's what we need to do with our community. Make sure that we're not building you up and letting people then drop off after. We need to keep the foot down. So let's go into the general updates. So not much. The new web pages for Academy members, they should be all done by the end of next week. I know a lot of you have been getting your messages that your pages are ready, and there's been loads of nice feedback about how they look and that people are really happy with the websites and these new services. The new pages will be supplemented with a design service apart from the construction page. The media walls will be having their own brochure. So we're actually doing a brochure for media walls, because we were looking at it going, there's a brochure for bedrooms, kitchens and bathrooms, obviously, and then there was nothing for media walls. So it was like, well, yeah, but people can make what they want, but it's nice to have something to look at. But there isn't really anything out there. So we may have spotted a gap in the market. And I think that for you guys in particular in your local area, I do think that media walls and stuff like that could be a massive hit. Because if you're getting a proper package, if we put a proper package together and there's a bit of a price to it for you guys to sell, obviously, then yeah, I feel like because there isn't really a media walls brochure out there, that probably is. Someone will probably say, well, there's one here. But what I'm saying is that they're not really a known mainstream thing. All right, the odd company might have done it here and there, but it's not something that's really, really out there. So we're going to make something and we're going to give it to you, so it'll be all branded up as you, and all that stuff like what we always do. But there will be set media walls for you to pick from, just to give your customers a bit of inspiration, so it's easier to get going. Because if you just go have anything you want, they'll go, ugh. But you can show them something, then they'll go, oh yeah, I like that, and then you can adapt that one. Yeah. So web pages, media walls, all that type of stuff is coming in fast. The social media pages as well. So people are already asking for, have you got images for social media, bedrooms, all that stuff, media walls. We are also building them in the background, because these pages are not actually, I thought this would be a lot simpler than what it's been, if I'm honest, as you always do at the beginning. You always think, oh, that'll be dead easy, that I'll do that. And then, yeah, it's turned into a bit of an animal, this extra pages, because then obviously it's meant brochures and it's meant emails and it's meant download forms, and it's technically been quite challenging, to be honest, because then it's obviously meant that, we need a proposal software now that can do these different jobs, and we need case studies in the back of the websites to do fucking case studies for them, and it's like, fucking hell, it's like snowballed into something that I didn't see, to be honest. But I think that it'll be worth it in the end. I think by the time we get to Christmas, when we've got all these things in place and we've got the social media set up properly and you've got your brochures and all that, so it will be sort of, we'll get it done for the new year, but it'll be like, right, in the new year we'll probably use that as a reset to go, right, now you've got all these things. But it doesn't mean that in the short term that you can't be asked. You can still be getting designs and quoting jobs. Don't use any of what I've just said as a fucking excuse. Get on with it. These extra bits are just luxuries, but we appreciate that they need to be there, and they will be there soon. So that's what we're doing in the background, amongst many other things. The other thing that I'd say you need to be thinking of now going into 2026 is the price increase of 5%, there or thereabouts. So this is the perfect opportunity for you to go to your customers and do a hard follow-up now on everyone, and I'll probably get the guys to be following up with you to see where you're up to with your sales, because it does happen every year where people don't do this, and then in the new year they put in an order and they go, oh, I want this kitchen now or this bathroom, and it's like the fucking first week in January. And I know you can't always completely control when the customer does come to you and say, right, I want to go ahead. But if you haven't followed up and at least tried to get them in before Christmas so they can get the lower price, and even if you can, knock a few £100 off, or, we'll help you with something, if whatever it is you need to try and get these sales over the line, you're better off doing that, because if you can hit the new year with a fuller bank balance and a fuller pipeline, you're going to be a lot happier going into the new year than scratching around January when it's quiet, because right now you're all going to be probably busy. So don't get blinded by busy, don't fall into that trap, and make sure that you've got a hard eye on sales, and make sure that you're going at these things hard as you possibly can, so you are ready for the new year. And obviously use the 5% increase that's coming in January as a lever to get your customers to sign up sooner, and maybe offer them some incentive to do so. So that's definitely worthy of mentioning in the general updates. Just another thing as well, just make sure you've all got the KBB Supply Services mobile app downloaded as well. It is something that, I don't think people use it as much as they should, because it's like, some people ask us sometimes, oh, where's this, where's that? And it's like, well, it's all in the app. So all your product brochures, getting a design, like, I don't think there's much that you can't do in that app. You can log into the trade portal, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's awful to use on a mobile. But do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like the app is not being used enough. So please do download the app as well. The link I'll stick in below this video as well. So that's your general updates. Obviously, we've got the new slab doors that we promised you would be here sooner. They haven't. Apologies, but they will be here soon. There's been issues with something that, I don't know, something to do. I don't even think it's anything to do with the product. There's nothing to do with the product. It's all the things around it, like the imagery and the pricing and the brochure build and all that shit. There's more things that go on with new product launches than you probably realise. So, and some of these things are out of our hands. So it's other people that fuck up, that fall back on you. And this is just one of them. So yeah, they'll be here soon. So general updates, that's it. Trade partners welcome, academy members welcome. You've got your KBB updates. And the next item I want to go into is the 10k a month for fitting 2 kitchens, which this is an old video. I think it must be a couple of years old, this video. And at the time, I did it because I wanted to demonstrate to people how you could fit 2 kitchens a month and earn 10 grand. And loads of people said, you're full of shit. That can't happen. And I was like, right. So that's why I did the calculator. So if you go to the link below, it says, you can earn 10k a month fitting 2 kitchens. And like I said, people were like, full of shit. That's impossible. I'm fitting 4 kitchens and I'm not even earning half that. So I did the piece of content to demonstrate how it was possible. Now, at the time, no one was really doing it. No trade partners were doing it. No academy members were doing it. I don't even think the academy was built then, to be honest. When I did that piece of content, I think it was just about like version 1. So it was very new, the academy at the time. There was not a lot of people in it, probably less than 20. So I did that piece of content to demonstrate with numbers how earning 10 grand a month by only supplying and fitting 2 kitchens is completely possible. Now, that was my theory until you made it a fact, because there's loads of people now doing it. And, there's more. What brought this to light again was when I did all these interviews with like, 8 or 9 of you over the last few weeks. Is a lot of people said, "Oh, I remember when you said, the 10K a month fitting 2 kitchens," and I thought, "Fuck off." But I'm doing it now, and it's weird that you look at things with that through that lens and that mindset and go, that's not possible. But when you actually stop and look at numbers and understand customers and understand trust and how the industry actually works, and you understand that you're being used by the trade accounts and they're not using you. Because if your supplier is earning more money off the kitchen than you, yeah? So let's say, for instance, you make 3-4 grand on a kitchen, we make a grand for easy maths, yeah? We probably make, probably not far off in terms of a percentage, that we would make somewhere in the region of 15 to 25% of what you actually make. Does that make sense? So you're making a few grand, we're making say 800, a grand, whatever it might be. Do you get what I mean? Because our model is that we help you sell and then you take the big profit. Yeah. Now, if your supplier, i.e., the sheds, and you know who I'm talking about, you don't earn the big money when you use them. They earn the big money, you earn the small money. Does that make sense? But with us, we earn the small money and you earn the big money. And that is how KBB Supply Services, and especially the Academy, is designed. Yes, some people look at that and go, well, that's stupid. Why would you set up a business that's, you're earning less than the other suppliers, basically, because you're teaching people and taking less yourself so you can let them have more. And I suppose it's a valid point. But it's like Amazon. Look at Amazon, for instance. They make pennies off each transaction, but there's a lot of them, and that was always, it's not our strategy. There wasn't really a strategy, to be honest. To be honest with you, mathematics wasn't our strong point when we started this. Now that sounds stupid because you think, well, Aaron, you're always about numbers and all the rest of it, and yes, you're right. And I knew the numbers would work, not daft. I knew the numbers would work. I just knew it'd take a long time to get to a good place. Because the model was so different. I knew people wouldn't understand it straight away and it would take time to get there. But the business that we have is more built around the values and the morals of my personal experience. And, like I said, luckily I didn't need to go into this to be making loads of money straight away, because we were already making money anyway as a business, doing other things, contracts and supply and fit and all the rest of it. So we had, we were doing really well already. So that's why we've been able to do it this way, because we started as we meant to go on. Obviously now it's working well. People are making plenty of sales, and we are very now healthy as a business. But this is where the model is different, that we make less than you. Now, when your supplier is making loads more than you and you're making less, that means that, so for instance, if you're using your trade account and you're taking it into your trade account and they're doing you a design, and then they might give you a few £100 or something. Oh yeah, thanks for bringing that customer in. And then they put the fucking debt on your trade account, which is just wild when you think about it, because that shouldn't be happening anyway. The customer should be paying the deposit. And you've heard me talk about this before. But in that scenario, you're building their brand. You're not building your own brand, and they're making more money than you. Yeah. And this is why when you're in that mindset of fitting and earning a little bit on the product, but the supplier's really making the main dough because they're making a few grand on that and you're making fuck all, basically. It's difficult when you're in that world to get your head into, actually, if I supplied that product, which again people think is impossible at the beginning when they're in that world, but when you come out of that world, you go, well, hang on a minute. if it was me that supplied the product, so I take them out of the equation, and then I make the money on the product and I make the money on my installation and price properly, and I understand trust and how customers will pay the proper price. Because if they're going to pay a big boy to do it, who's got loads of bad reviews and sells shit products, then why wouldn't they sell? Why wouldn't that customer buy from me, who's local, trusted, professional? I'm on the doorstep. Surely to God. Do you get what I mean? So when you start piecing all this together, it's actually quite clear that if you sold 2 kitchens a month and you paid yourself 2 to 2.5 grand for fitting them, say, and then you made 2, 3, 4, or 5 grand profit on the job as a whole, you're well into 10 grand a month, aren't you? Because you've got your 2 fit prices, and let's just assume for now that you're fitting both of them. So you made your first 5 grand, and then you've made your profit on top of them jobs as well. So you're over 10 grand a month GP. So you're making 10 grand a month. Yeah, all right, you got to pay yourself, you got things to pay for, but the point is, you've got fucking 10 grand to pay for it with. Whereas you haven't got that fucking 10 grand at all. Well, you have. You might be getting paid the fit, but that just amounts to wages at the end of the day. The profit on top is just not there. So when you are thinking about this early days, you're thinking, fucking hell, this isn't possible. But clearly, and I'm glad now that, this was my, not theory, because I was doing it, but I was just hoping that people would believe me and understand it and get to a point where they will do it for themselves. And now people are doing it for themselves. And I wanted to bring that back into focus tonight, because if you're watching this going, fucking hell, what are you on about here? How is this possible? This is blowing my mind. Go to the link in the description below. And even if you're an Academy member and you're going, I've not seen that piece of content, because if you're early on in your journey or even later on in your journey and you're still not quite where you need to be, then go and look at that piece of content now. And we're going to be using that calculator again for Inner Circle, because that calculator sort of deals with all the things that you need to model in your business. And it's really a great calculator. I'm a bit pissed off at myself that we've not pushed that content a lot harder. And I think I'm going to, because it's such a great piece of content. If someone said to me, what's the best piece of content you've ever created? I'd say it's that video, that how to make 10 grand a month fitting 2 kitchens. Because I watched it again the other day and I thought, it's a couple of years old this now. How I think it is anyway. Well, it's definitely over a year. And I watched it again and I thought, fucking hell, that it still hit me. I was like, that is really good. And I didn't even think about the content at the time. I just did it. I just turned the camera on, bang, did it, and I just didn't overthink it. Probably in a little bit because I thought, fucking hell, I know it's possible, but will people actually do it? And like I've said, plenty of people in the academy now are doing it. They're doing it properly. They're making the money that is possible, let's say, and they're doing really well. But what's next, right? Because this is the thing. We've got to the 10 grand a month. So if you've not got to the 10 grand a month, go and watch that video. If you're at the 10 grand a month, then, and you're doing well, then, what is next? Because there's got to be something next, because people think that the 10 grand a month at the beginning, people, and probably, again, you will hear me talk about this quite a lot more moving forward, because I feel like it's such a milestone and a pivotal moment. It's so important. But the 10 grand a month isn't the goal. Yeah, that is not that's not the end point. That should just be normal. The 2 sales and the 10 grand a month gross profit to pay for everything with should just be normal, because really that should be happening. That wasn't like, when you get here, it's going to be like, sunshine and roses and rainbows. No, let's just get there. Let's just get there. Because you might be sat there thinking, I'm fucking miles off that. I'll never do that. That's just going on in your head. That's just bullshit. Everyone that's doing it will go, actually, a lot of people get there without even realising it, because they don't know the numbers, because they'll be looking at the bank going, can't afford this, can't do that, can't do that. And then what they don't realise is that they're actually already at that number. So, yeah, because we're always worried about money. No matter how much we've got, we always worry about it. No matter how well we're doing, we'll always think we're doing shit. This is just the way we're programmed. But some people get to this milestone without even knowing. But what is next? So for those that have experienced the academy, they've done the declaration, they've made a pledge to themselves and the family, they've followed through on it, they haven't let anyone down. What do they do when they get to this point now? So this is where we've reached the inner circle bit. Now, who is inner circle for? So on the last Facebook Live, if you don't know what I'm talking about here because you haven't watched it, go back onto the YouTube channel, go back to the Facebook Live, the last one we did 2 weeks ago, which will be end of October, where I did a debrief on the event, and I talked about the 5 stages of entrepreneurship, or the academy journey, whatever. It's all the same stuff. And we talked about the 5 stages. Now we're looking for people that are at stage 4 here. So stage 1 is uninformed optimism. Then we've got, because what you're about to do, you don't know what you're about to do. Then you've got uninformed optimism. Then you've got informed pessimism, where you go, fucking hell, it's a bit harder than I thought. Then you go into the valley of despair because you're thinking, shit, I really want to do this, but it's really hard and you can only see the bad stuff. Then you've got stage 4, where you've got informed optimism, where you know how to deal with the good and the bad things and to get the best out of it. And then 5 is when you get to the achievement of the goal, which is like the 10K a month. So the inner circle, quite simply, is for people that are at stage 4. Yeah. And because you have got to get yourself, you're going to go through stage 1 anyway, but you're definitely going to go through stage 2. And most people will give up at stage 3. They won't battle through the shit. When it's really hard and they're really struggling, because we see it with Academy members quite a lot, where they're trying really hard and we're giving them really critical feedback, and it's really difficult sometimes to know that someone's trying really hard and to still have to criticize them. But that is how you know when someone's trying to push through that stage 3, the valley of despair. That's how you know when they're just trying. They're trying so hard. And we throw these comments out thinking, I hope that doesn't floor them too much, but it needs to be said. And that is why, we can sense that when things get really intense with someone, because everyone sort of goes through this where they have loads of ideas and they feel like we're being mean to them or whatever, but they're trying really hard, but sometimes you just go off track and we're like, no, fucking concentrate there. So we're looking for people that have got themselves to stage 4, because with our help, people intensify. Well, this is what happens is people that have intense conversations with us in the WhatsApp group are at stage 3. They either push through and then soon after arrive at stage 4, which is informed optimism, or they fucking give up. So we are not going to pick people that are at stage 1, 2, or 3 to go into inner circle. And there is a gatekeeper on the inner circle. Just to be crystal clear about this, it's not me who decides who comes into inner circle, right? I don't think that if you get invited to inner circle that we're best mates, and that if you don't get invited to inner circle, I think any less of you than someone who has been invited, because I don't decide who comes into inner circle. You decide, and Lee decides, yeah? And I'm the third person that agrees to who comes in. So I've got a list of names that Lee has put to me, because they've got to stage 4. So you get to stage 4. We know you're at stage 4 because we can see it all. Then Lee will go, right, I think that person's probably right for it. And then it comes to me. So I'm the third person in line that decides inner circle membership. So don't think that this is me picking my favourites and my mates and, all that shit. I ain't got a fucking clue who's going to get to stage 4. It could be anyone, yeah? It's not my job to pick who goes into inner circle. It's your job to get there, and it's Lee's job then to identify you, and you two to sort of see that good things are happening and that there is a natural step now that needs to take you to the next level. Things like being at stage 4, doing the 2 a month, getting that 10K GP across your things. But if you're not doing your cash flow sheet, your scorecard, we'll never fucking know that, will we? Do you get what I mean? So this is where you start to see now that, and there are a lot of people that, there was a short list of 30 people that we sort of thought, right, these people are stage 3, 4ers, yeah? So there was about 30 people in that I thought of, and it really came down to about 10 people that are actually at stage 4, that were on that particular list. that we thought, right, these people are going to be ready to move forward. Now, that might not seem like a lot of people, but there's a lot of people that are going to follow them very shortly. Bearing in mind that we probably could have put a lot more people through, but we've got to also be mindful that the meetings themselves we don't want 20 people in the room. It needs to be between 10 and 15 max, because we've got to get round everyone on the day, and we don't want to be there till 11 o'clock at night. So, the meetings will be fairly small-ish, 10 to 15 people max. But it's got to be people that are at stage 4. But what's going to happen now? So when you get in a circle, what is going to happen? Well, firstly, you'll get an invite, that you will be a yes or no to, right? This is still to be completely decided, but this is where I'm up to with it at the moment. You'll get the invite. Now, just because you get invited to one meeting doesn't mean that you'll be coming to all of them, right? Because what we're looking at here, and there's a reason for this, which you'll see in a minute, the way that it's going to work is, if we identify you thinking that you're at stage 4, we need to verify you're at stage 4 before we sort of put more pressure on you. When you get your invite and you say yes, because if you turn around and go, I'm actually happy where I am, I don't want to be pushed any further, that's fine, because I don't want you to feel obliged to be part of something, because the inner circle is going to be a bit more, there's a bit more to this, and I'm going to tell you about it in a moment. So some people might turn around and go, do you know what, I'm in a good place, I'm okay, maybe I'll leave it for now, and that's fine, and we'll catch up at a later date, and if you change your mind or you want to do it later, the offer's always there. So, or might not be, because again, if you drop back into stage 3 and you slip backwards, again, just because you get invited once, in 6 months' time, your business might be off the boil, and it's like, you need to get your basics back in order. Do you see what I'm saying? So there'll be windows of opportunities to come in, because it won't just be like a given that once you're in, that's it. It's like, well, you're basically an ambassador of the academy, so you need to keep it up, and if you don't keep it up, then you will we won't be pushing you to do extra things if you then start to struggle with the basics. I hope this makes sense anyway. So the academy will be extended and changed, and there will be a lot of changes for people in a circle. It will basically be another academy, and in that academy there will be a set number of things that I want people to focus on, that I know are the next level. So the academy, 12 steps, getting to the 10k a month, getting to a stage 4, all that bollocks. Really, you can do that yourself with what you've got now, with your WhatsApp groups, the events, the 12 steps, the help that you've already got. You can get there. Now, for some people, they've got more ambition, and again, this is where you've got to be careful, is I'm not trying to push everyone to in a circle. There are different groups of people in the academy, and not everyone is created equal, right? So you've got people that just want to do one a month, and they just plod in. They know they shouldn't be doing labour-only work, but they still do it because they enjoy it, and they might sell one every couple of months, but they keep their academy subscription there because they enjoy it, they like the events, they do it. And those people probably look at Inner Circle and go, fuck that. Do you know what I mean? It's not me. And that is fine. And I don't think any less of those people. In fact, I respect those people maybe a little bit more than the nutcases like me that want to keep going because they're just more content in life than we are. And there's a lot to be said for that. And this isn't a competition on who's got the biggest business, who does the most installations. This is just about you being able to fulfill whatever level of success you want to achieve, whether it's just adding that extra one job a month in, an extra 30, 40 grand a year in your pocket. For most people, that is a game changer. Some people want to be off the tools, so they need to do 2 or 3 jobs a month, and they don't want to be on the tools anymore. They want to grow businesses, but then you got people that get there and then they go, fucking hell, I've still got more in the tank. I want to keep going. And that's what Inner Circle's for. It's not a clique. It's not a gang. It's not a club. It is exclusive. I would say it is, but it's only exclusive because it's something that you want. It's not, if you don't want it, you don't want it. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not trying to ram this next level of success down everyone's throat, but I feel like if it needs to be there 100%, because if we've got a short list of 30 people now, then fucking hell, that's already telling us that actually the future here is quite frightening in some ways, because there's a lot of businesses there, and there's a lot of people doing a lot of stuff. And if we just the 12 steps, because if you think about Academy Plus again, let's go back to Academy Plus. We know the impact of Academy Plus, how when you do the right things on Academy Plus, it's like rocket fuel. It really does work. But it also takes a lot off your Academy Plus, and it creates more capacity in your working week and month and year. So that's why some people are wanting more, because they've actually got time for it. Now, there is this danger as well, and I'll be honest about Inner Circle, because there is this danger as well that I am genuinely worried here that some people that aren't experienced at running businesses are now running businesses, and if they feel like the 12 steps and all the rest of it, they've sort of done that now. And to some degree, yeah, when you're well into the rhythm, you have done it. But what I know some people will do, because this is what we do, we make more money, we feel overly confident because we've got this business, we've got profit, and we start messing with things. Might not even be in this business. And I've done this. I have done this. And that's why I need to fucking stop people from doing it. Stick to your fucking knitting, right? Make sure that when you get to that level, you don't start getting overly confident and cocky, because just because you know one business model doesn't mean you know them all. And slight differences and nuances, even in the same industry, can fucking kill you, because you've got to be careful. Yeah, that's why moving into, if you want to really master the next level, it's multiple revenue streams, it's getting off the tools, and it's the stuff that I'm going to talk to you about now. So what will happen when you get access to Inner Circle is we'll focus on those things. We'll focus on this next level. What's the next level? So there will be new modules in the Academy called Academy Inner Circle, and we'll be focusing on a handful of things. So I'm going to go through them, and we're also going to look at 1 minute. So I've got 6 items on here at the moment, which I want to talk to you about. I might change this slightly, but this is where I'm at with it at the moment. So what will be in it? What will be in this new academy? Because it is basically a new academy, and only people that have been invited to Inner Circle will have access to this. This will not be something that everybody can see. This will be exclusive content that only Inner Circle people can see, because it is more advanced, and it does need closer coaching to get this stuff over the line. So number 1 will be a bit of a mindset reset. So when you first go into Inner Circle, the first thing that I want to focus your mind on is this. You need in business, and I can't remember who told me this. It was either my old coach or someone that I know, or someone that I can't remember exactly who said this to me. It was fucking years ago, like over 10 years ago. But they said to me, you need to focus on 3 things. Yeah. And this goes for anybody, by the way. This goes for an employee. This goes for this is why in my business I like to keep people focused on the things that they're doing. I don't like overreach into other departments and things like this on a regular basis. And the reason is this is what I'm going to get into now. And you've got to know as a person, if you want to be successful, no matter what it is, there's going to be 3 things that you cannot be replaced at. Yeah. That's more true if you're a business owner than an employee. Yeah. But you get what I'm saying, whether it's whatever it is you're doing. There's three things that you cannot be replaced at in your business. And what are they? So I worked out years ago, when I was first building this model, I thought, what are the three things that I can't be replaced at? And it's funny because actually now today in that business, I have been replaced in these three things, but it takes a long time to get there. But for inner circle people, we will be ignoring the fact that maybe one day it will happen, and we'll be focusing in on what these three things are. So these three things, well, have a think to yourself for a minute. What are the three things that go on in your business right now that you couldn't be replaced at, or it feels like you couldn't be replaced at right now? And until the business is built, you shouldn't be replaced at. That's more to the point. I think I was able to replace myself in those roles once the business was built, once the brand was powerful. You can step out of it a bit. And again, this is another thing that we can come on to within a circle members, is that can happen at some point. This should be part of the plan. But for now, until we get there, what are the three things that you can't be replaced at? Now, I'll give you a little minute to sort of, before I tell you to have a think about that. So number one is obviously surveying and quoting. Yeah, meeting that customer for the first time, being the face of the brand, doing the quote, making sure the pricing's right, making sure it feels right. You want control over that 100%. That is what you need to do. Surveying and quoting is number one. Number two is project managing. Now, project managing, why project managing? Because if your projects aren't managed properly, you're not going to get 5-star reviews, so you're not going to build your fucking brand. So you're at the front of it, survey, quote, making sure the pricing's right, project managing, making sure, again, the pricing's right at the end. We're getting a 5-star review, and under project management, we have the recruiting and refining processes are sort of sub-items of that project managing, because you're looking at your processes every day thinking what's working here, what's not working, how do we make this better? That's part of project management. And recruitment is part of project management, because we need to manage the people that are on the project. So that is part of it. So number one, we've got surveying and quoting. And then number two, we've got project management. And under project management, we've got sub-items of recruitment and refining processes. Then number three, what's number three? Marketing. So getting and keeping new customers. So doing your networking, making sure that you're doing the posting on social media, making sure you're doing whatever the marketing things that you've got going on, is having control over it, and making sure that, with your marketing, obviously a sub-item to that will be your scorecard. A sub-item to the project management will be the cash flow sheet as well. Do you get what I mean? I'm just going to make a note of that, actually. So don't forget. So under project management, there'll be WIP sheets and cash flow sheet. And then under marketing, you've got your usual stuff. And then your scorecard will sit under marketing as well. Because that is basically what that is. For the most part, I know that the outputs are jobs, sales, leads, cash flow and all that, but the top items are all about marketing. Marketing, what drives your business forward. And if you want to get off the tools one day properly, it's like me now. Look at what I do. Operationally, I'm not really part of the business. I am marketing the business a lot, and I spend a lot of time in front of the camera, because I'm marketing the services and making the products visible to people. And that is where eventually you need to get. If you want to get off the tools and really grow your business properly, and really build something that's really good, then marketing, you've got to be the marketer of your brand, not the doer of your brand. You can't be doing the marketing properly. You've got to focus on those three things: surveying and quoting, project managing, and marketing. Yeah, and making sure if you box those three areas off, your life is going to be a lot better. And all of your 90-minute sessions should be built around perfecting those three things. Yeah. So every 90-minute session should be, right, let's spend a bit of time perfecting the surveying and quoting. Let's make, perfect the project management. Let's perfect the marketing. And they're the three key areas that your 90-minute sessions really should be all focused around. Now, everyone's getting a really good insight here of what the inner circle level is going to be. So even though not everyone is going to go there, I hope that this is good value, because I really do think that even if you're not going there, there's nothing stopping you from doing this now. But what you'll notice about the three things is don't just focus on what is on the list. Take note of what isn't on the list, right? Cleaning your van and your house and your fucking office. Get a cleaner. Bookkeeping and accounts. If you're still sifting through receipts, fucking stop it. You haven't got time. You don't know what you're fucking doing. Get a bookkeeper. It's not that day, and if you put it in your cash flow sheet, make it fucking happen. Because you put it this way, if you can't afford a bookkeeper and you can't make that happen, you're fucked anyway. This is, do you understand what I'm saying? You've got to get these fucking tasks that are robbing time from other areas off your desk. The other thing that's not on the list is fitting products. We've not mentioned fitting in them three things. I know, because we're going to employ people to fucking do that. We're not doing it anymore. So if we're getting good at our project management skills and we're going to recruit people, we ain't fucking fitting shit ever again. And then the last one that's not on the list is going to the trade counter for materials. Again, you'll notice that your business is built around using a supplier that drop ships to the house. So when I was building my business, going to the trade counter to get materials, when somebody says oh, I can go to Howden's because it's in the local town, it's like, you just, and I know that it's true for where they are at the moment when they say that comment, but that is just fitter talk. That's just tradesperson thinking. We need to be thinking like business people. Every supplier must be able to drop to the front door. That's why we've gone down when you look at the suppliers that we use in our supply chain, and by the way, all the suppliers that KBB uses, the ones I've used for fucking over 10 years, that's why there's good relationships there. But the reason why it was like, I need a supplier that takes materials to the house. It's got to go to the house. I am not buying a van to fucking move shit around, and I'm not going to the fucking trade counter. I'm just not doing it. So there's got to be suppliers out there that deliver to the front door, and they are that is an absolute must, yeah? Because then you can manage those suppliers with your project management skills. If you're in your van running around picking up fucking doors and plinths, and literally, I know it sounds stupid, but I would rather wait an extra week for a product to be delivered than spend half a day fucking chasing around in my van, yeah? And then this is where you've got to sometimes look at the cost of, everything comes at a cost, yeah? So yes, the convenience of being able to go and pick something up from the local supplier and have it fitted and paid today is desperate anyway. Let's face it, if you're thinking like that, you're desperate. Whereas you might be thinking, well, actually, my time's valuable. I'm a fucking business owner. I need to be putting my time elsewhere. So I'll wait for the product to get to site, and then I'll arrange the fitter to go up. I'm in project management and business mode. I'm not in running around like a dickhead mode, yeah? So that's number one. So that lesson that I'll just give you there will basically be the outline of what we start within a circle, that this is what you need to be focusing on. Them three areas are the absolute key points, and making sure that the other things that I've mentioned, you're not fucking doing. Because if you are doing, you ain't taking it seriously and you ain't thinking like a business person. And to be fair, I really hope that people don't ever turn up to an inner circle meeting and say that they're doing any of those things, because they're fucking stupid if they are. And again, I'm not saying that you're fucking stupid if you're doing it, but if you're early on in your journey and you are doing it, this is the sign that things need to change. Yeah, I'm not having a go at people. I'm not calling people fucking stupid, although I did say it. But you get what I'm saying, don't you? It's like, at this level, we need to think differently. You cannot be bringing that tradesperson thinking into this. This is where you're going to be taking it seriously and not saying and doing stupid things. So number 2 is social media content. So the next level, this is the key to your level of success. And this is what I mentioned earlier when I said I'd tell you next year what is the key to your success. Now here's some statistics for you. YouTube now catches 13.4 of all television viewing. This is in America, but it's basically here as well. not just streaming, not just digital video, all TV viewing. That means that people who turn on the news and all these channels now, the tuning in on YouTube, yeah, this is massive. This because all of your academy members have got YouTube channels, you've got social media channels, and it really is time to start putting yourselves out there and get oversubscribed with customers so you can start demanding prices instead of quoting prices. And there's a new saying for you. Instead of quoting prices, demand them. Have people queuing outside the door for your services. Because if you're out there enough in the world, you'll have enough inquiries. Because one of the things I am actually worried about with Inner Circle members in the next year is that they'll get too busy, they'll get too many leads. And what we've got to do is raise our prices, and you will become oversubscribed. When you put in the things that are in a circle, you'll go up to a different level. So you'll need to be putting your prices up and making sure that you are demanding prices and not quoting prices. Yeah, there will be an extra 10 to 15% to go with your pricing easily. And it really is time to put yourself out there. So I made a comment, I think I might have mentioned it earlier, but in the interview that I did, I said I'd come back to it, so I'm going to come back to it. I made a comment in my interview with Lee. And it's probably quite a bold statement, this, but I'm going to stand by it, and we'll see next year if I was right. But I believe, because it's been true for me as well, that there'll be a direct correlation between your wealth and the number of video hours that you record and publish in the coming years. The members that do this properly, by the end of next year, will be the wealthiest in the academy, without a doubt. So I'm going to play you a video of Matt from Adolfo. So, is Matt Adolfo? No, Matt from Adolfo. Matt Adolfo from Shawbreak, fucking hell. It's getting late. So he sent this video into his WhatsApp group the other day saying, I've put this out on Facebook and I've had 2 leads off it straight away. Now, the video is quite controversial. He swears, and, well, I'll let you watch it for yourself. I'll play it in a minute. But the point being is that this is what happens when you put yourself out there and just be yourself. Sorry, one sec. When you put yourself out into the world and you let people see who you are, because some of you, let's face it, are still shit scared of getting in front of the camera and still won't do social media posts properly, and you're paying the price for it at the end of the day. You know, you are paying the price for it. And it's funny how when Matt put this video in the other day, and he was, I've had 2 leads just off the back of this video, and he put it on his personal profile, and he was a bit concerned about putting it on his business profile. So I said, look, just chop the end of it off and leave it on like a cliffhanger, so anyone on your Facebook page won't know what you said. So it's like, it creates a bit of intrigue, and I don't actually know what he's done with it since then. It was just a quick conversation, but the video is brilliant. It's 3 minutes long, but what I want you to just look at is how calm and just being himself he was. It's not difficult. It's like me now talking to you. This is the rawest version of me you're going to get. This isn't polished. I'm picking things up off the fucking floor. I'm making notes. I'm all over the show. Sometimes there's technical glitches. Sometimes I swear, and you just move on, you get through it. But being authentic is really important. Now, if you're a nice, authentic, genuine person and nobody knows about it, you're diminishing your chances of making a sale like you wouldn't believe. And there's so many people in this industry, so many kitchen and bathroom businesses. This is an old-fashioned industry, and I want you to see the opportunity here, because this is a very old-fashioned industry. And if you get in front of that video, in front of that camera, and put video on your social media, so again, go and look at Josh Whitley from Brooks Kitchens as well. I've mentioned him before. Search him on Facebook, follow him, right? Go to Brooks Kitchens. It might be Kitchens, and if Josh is watching, or Lee, we'll put the link to Josh's Facebook page and his Instagram page. Lee, please can you drop that into the comments, so people can follow Josh, and watch his content, because it's funny every time that I watch it, because he's all over the show and he's laughing at himself and he's fucking bumbling his way through the video, and it's just so funny and authentic. Like, I watch it and I watch it till the end because I know him, and and it's just funny to watch, and not because it's humorous, because it just is interesting. Yeah, we're doing this today, we're doing that today, and it's just people are interesting. People love to know what's going on, don't they, behind this? People are fucking nosy. And if you've got people that are in your local area, if I was in Josh's local area now and I was aware of, or I'd seen one of his posts and I wanted a kitchen, there isn't a shadow of doubt that I would ask him for a quote. He'd be the first person round. And if he's the person that I'd seen on social media and he was being his usual, jovial self, I'd be like, right, do you think at that point I'd be wanting or expecting the cheapest quote of him? Do you think that I'd be thinking, oh, I like Josh, but I hope he's cheap? I mean, we all might think that, but the point being is that you're at a point, once you've broken that familiarity and you've got that trust, the price becomes so less important. And we've talked about this so many times, that people will pay extra. And if you're not in front of the camera in 2026 and putting at least an hour or two of content out there a week, then you will still be fine, possibly, but you will do a lot better. You will do a lot better if you just put customer updates videos on your socials and on your YouTube channel, and learn how to just optimize your videos a little bit, use a few hashtags. Don't need to be anything complicated. Instead of fucking asking me, go and ask ChatGPT how to do it. How do I optimize this video for YouTube? Boom, it'll fucking tell you in seconds. Upload the video and give it the transcript, and it'll tell you how to do it. You don't even need to come to us for this anymore. In the age of AI, a lot of this stuff, you can just go, I've given the idea, you fucking run with it. You just go, I'll do a video update, put it into ChatGPT, ask it for give me a Facebook post with this, video, and give me the hashtags to use for this particular area. Boom, fucking copy and paste that into social media. Take you 10 fucking minutes. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's so easy to get, and just get over your fucking self as well. Just talk. Go and watch Josh's. Leo put the comments in the chat. I'm going to show you Matt's video now. So here we go. Let's watch that.
So here's a little insight into the life of a contractor, self-employed person, small business owner, entrepreneur, whatever you want to call it, really. Utter mug. Could be, could not be. See how that goes. So at 5:30 you receive a call from an existing customer. Lovely couple. Hard to say no to. There's a leak under their floor. You're currently fitting the bathroom, so you panic. You think, oh no, is it anything to do with me? I offer a 3-year warranty. I'm a Which Trusted Trader. Just saying. Probably should rush out there straight away. Luckily, they're only 5 minutes away. So you jump in the van, spin some tyres, and you get there in record time. Only to find out it's the old pipework leaking. But what do? Not my problem. Got to fix it, haven't you? So you fix it, and it still leaks. And you fix it again. Probably the wrong term to use, if I'm honest. It leaks again. Turns out pipe's on such an angle that it's just not doable. So what do? You can't leave them with no water. So you set them up a temporary supply because you're a nice guy. You're a nice guy. Never mind the cost of the fittings. The stop valve, £7. The pipe, £8. The joiner, £4. But you do it anyway because they're an existing customer. And you're a nice guy. And now they've got water for the evening, be it from a stop tap or an isolating valve even. but they've got water. They can fill the kettle. It's right by the toilet, to be fair, so they can flush the toilet with it. Ideal. What a nice guy you are. They go off on the merry way. They're going to sit down, probably have a nice drink, have a glass of wine. Maybe you've already had dinner. Don't know, couldn't tell you. I've come back, covered in underfloor juice. And I don't know why I put my hand in my mouth, anything else. What am I doing? Finishing fucking quotes. Or starting quotes. Designing bathrooms, designing kitchens. So, whenever you question a contractor, entrepreneur, small business owner, sole traders, charges, prices, think they've got it easy because they can work their own hours, shut the fuck up.
So yeah, so it's funny, innit? And you're looking at it going, why he did it, I don't know, but I'm glad he did. And, but this is it. Sometimes just get the camera on, just have a chat, speak to your audience. It really is simple stuff, and it just needs to be a minute or two. What was that, 3 minutes long? And I think what was good about it is that it's a story. Yeah. So when you're doing these things, you need to be thinking about telling a story. What is the story? And talk about things that have happened that week. Try not to be critical and don't slag other people off. There will be guidelines around this, but just tell stories. He's told a story there, and that's why you probably stayed gripped and watched until the end, or wanted to watch until the end, should I say? Is because he was telling a story, and you didn't really know where it was going to end until it ended. Do you get what I mean? So it's just a good way of keeping engagement on with your customers. Again, and if I lived in his area, I'd be going, yeah, I like a quote because I can see you're a genuine guy. I like you. I think you're quite funny as well. And there's things in there that I know if he walked into my house, we would have a laugh. We would get on, and that is a massive part of doing business. And that's what you're doing with these customers. You're doing business. They're not just customers. These are people that you're doing business with. You've got to see it like that. You really have got to see it like that. So social media content, the next level, will be giving you guidelines just around doing it more, getting yourself out there more, making sure that, and if you sat there saying to me now, well, why aren't you just putting this in the normal academy? Because I could do this now. Well, if you can do it now and you're doing the stuff that's in the 12 steps, you will get to Inner Circle and you'll get all this. But if you still struggling with other things, then we're not going to start loading you up with more stuff. To get what I mean? So when I'm going through this list, just be mindful here that you might think, well, I'll do that now, but stop yourself for a minute and say, well, what in the 12 steps am I already not doing? Am I in Academy Plus? Am I doing the things that Aaron's told me to do in the past? Because it's very easy to jump onto the new thing. Oh, well, I'll do the new thing, but you're not doing, some people aren't doing the fucking old thing that they've been aware of for a long time and they're still not doing it. So don't look at this stuff and go, oh, I want to do that. The first 2 points of Inner Circle, I've given you enough pointers. You could watch this video back and do these things yourself anyway. Do you know what I mean? It's just that I'm not going to be coaching people around these things unless they're in Inner Circle. And again, this content tonight is designed to be there to go back and watch. So there's value in this for everyone. Again, I don't want Inner Circle to be a click, but I think that there needs to be a proper sit around the table and to talk about specific things. And this is two of the things that we will be talking about, checking up on each other, make sure giving each other ideas. Because if you're in a room of 10 or 15 people and you're looking at each other's social media, having a bit of a laugh, giving each other ideas, that is way, you've been, if those of you that have been to events will know what I'm saying there, you'll be like, yeah, I can get that if I'm in that room full of people and we're all doing the same thing, the energy in that room is going to fucking spin, and that's the difference within a circle. The fact that it is a meeting, we're talking about specific things is the difference. So number 3 on the list, what we'll be talking about is the off the tools calculator. So we've done the 10K a month calculator already. We've spoke about that today. The link's down in the description. But we'll be revisiting that calculator to remodel getting off the tools. So if you're looking at it going, and I know you use your cash flow sheet and all the rest of it and say use that, but using the off the tool, the know your numbers calculator on the Trade Partners website is something that there's nothing stopping us at this point going back to that and going, well, where am I actually at? What is my cost per lead? What are my overheads? What is my gross profits? That calculator is powerful. So we will be making sure that that is, again, something that we revisit and making sure that we do not a different version of the calculator, but just a different version of the content on not the 10K a month, but whatever it needs to be to get you where you need to be, and how to sort of use the calculator to do that. Again, not difficult stuff, not like, oh my God, it's not like blow your mind to pieces, but it's just elevating your thinking to the next level. Number 4 will be processes, efficiency, and project management. Now, there is elements of this already in the Academy Plus. So I think at the first meeting for Inner Circle, we'll probably leave this step 4 processes bit a little bit ambiguous, because one of the things I want to do at Inner Circle meetings is say to people, what do you need? Because we've developed everything in the Academy so far is bespoke. Yeah. So nothing in the Academy is off the shelf in terms of, yeah, all right, you can look at the CRM system and go, oh, it's a high level CRM. But the stuff that's in the CRM is what matters. It's like saying, I bought a fucking canvas that's white, but it's what you paint on the canvas that matters. You know what I mean? It's like you can't look at the two things. And so I just want to make that point there, because I know some people will turn around and go, yeah, well, the CRM you can get from anywhere. The sales process that's programmed into it and the stuff that we give you and how we teach you to use that CRM is where the value is, and that is bespoke. Okay, so the website's completely bespoke software, proposal software, case study software, all that shit. That's all been built for you specifically. The calculators that you've got, the cash flow sheet, nothing. Even the trade portal, the new quoting portal and all the rest of it, that has been developed and built. So you are literally having things built around your businesses. So the processes, efficiency, and project management bit, we'll probably not do a lot of work on that until we've had the first meeting, and at that meeting agree what everyone wants and needs, because yes, there's things that I can say you need and all the rest of it, but I think it would be a good opportunity to stop and go, right, what project management tools do you want, and how do you want to get there? We have got things bubbling away in the background already that are going to make life easier, but that will be something that we develop with members, not necessarily just for members. We'll be doing that together. And I think that everybody having their say on what they want well, we've always done that anyway. Everything's been built off the back of your ideas, stroke our ideas. So it's not like that's going to be any different. It's just that, there's just a few things in there that we could go either way on, and I feel like we need to be in the room to talk about that. So number 5 is quite a big one. So what we want to do with your proposals is, when your proposal goes out, I mean, someone asked me this isn't new, this idea. This is something that we've been talking about since nearly the beginning of the year, but we haven't got round to developing it yet, because the proposal software is changing again with the media walls and all the rest of it. And again, everything fucking affects it, everything, it's like a domino effect with things. So we haven't quite got to this yet, but we will be putting this in place for Inner Circle members and Inner Circle members only. So there will be a link on your proposal software where once your customer has signed, they will get a link to pay the deposit straight away. So you don't need to then send them an invoice later on. So we'll have a piece of software that links in with that you create the link before. So basically, when you are creating the proposal, you'll create a payment link as well, and you'll paste that into your CRM, and it will then get the customer to, just give them a link to pay basically. And so once you've sort of prepared the final sign off to say that, right, this is what we've agreed and here's your deposit and all that bollocks, they'll be able to pay straight away. So in terms of their experience, they don't have to sign it and then wait for you to send them the invoice, because while they're sat at the fucking computer, they can pay it. They're in buying mode. They've just signed up and they're going, right, where do I pay my invoice? And you go, oh, I'll send you the invoice in a couple of days. This will speed up your process, and it'll speed up ours as well, I suppose, because it means that you'll get orders in quicker, we'll get orders in quicker, everything will be more streamlined. The customer's experience as well will be a lot smoother, because what will they think? God, how organised is it? Think of the perception of the customer at this point, that they've literally just signed and they've had their invoice payment straight away, and it's like, bloody hell. And then there'll be a video that will come onto the video in a moment. So that is something that's going to make a lot, save you a little bit of time. But what will also happen then is once the customer's paid, we'll be able to send them more communications through the CRM. So that at the minute, the CRM stops when it's like deposit, when it's like signing a deposit, and then you sort of have to take it over from there and do what you do. But what we're trying to do here is elongate the CRM. So the CRM will communicate with that customer then to say, thank you for your payment. This is really excited, all that. We'll basically extend the emails, because now we've got more trigger points in the process, because we'll be able to see that they've paid that, and then we'll send them the sort of how to prepare for your installation or whatever video or content that we want to send them, which I'm going to come on to in a minute. So there's quite a lot of stuff here for Inner Circle people. We've got the three main things, which is a lot of mindset stuff. We've got the social media content, which will be a big push on that. Off the tools calculator, making sure that we are where we need to be and we're staying there. Processes, efficiency and project management. Payment links going onto your proposals. So when you're looking at the main three things, surveying, quoting, project management, marketing, we're basically putting more emphasis on those things at these Inner Circle meetings, which then brings me on to the confession. So I feel a little bit bad about this, if I'm honest. I don't really, but the confession is this. Your sales process that you've been using all this time that works really well, it's not actually the sales process that I used to use. You've been using a watered down version. And the reason why is that it was easier to build using email and text only. There's only email and text in your sales process at the moment. Now, we did toy with making the sales process exactly the same as ours, but unfortunately, so many people found it so difficult to do the Loom videos, which is one video to do a practice quote on, that we thought we can't realistically give them the full sales process that we use, because we'd never get the fucking content off them. Could you imagine giving people, and I'll tell you why in a minute, because in our sales process, in our proper sales process, and the one that Inner Circle members are going to now get, there's a lot of videos throughout, and you don't have them in your sales process at the moment. Now, it wasn't really a risk to run without the videos at the time. It would have been nice to have them. It would have been very nice to have them. But as most of you will sit there and say, yeah, that was me. That I was a bit with the looms, and a bit about getting in front of a camera and all the rest of it. So if we imagine if we'd said to you, we need you to film 6 videos. We need fucking hell. People will be like, no, not doing that. Blah 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 blah. So anyway, so that's why we had to run with a watered down sales process, because the difficulty of getting people to do video was just too big of an obstacle to overcome. But there are people now, and plenty of you watching this will be going, oh, fucking hell, I'm not like that anymore. Yeah, well, that's why now we can start rolling this new sales process out, the proper one, to everyone who gets to Inner Circle. Now, again, you might be saying, well, why can't I do that now? Because I could do that now. But why won't you just give it to me? Why do I need to get to Inner Circle to get there? Because, again, I go back to the point I said earlier, is that one, there's quite a lot of work for us to do this here, yeah? So this isn't just about you. There's videos to do. There's quite a lot involved in expanding these sales processes now, and there will be some new training required because it is slightly different, the sales process. Not different in the process itself isn't different. The communication is just a little bit different. But I'm going to keep coming back to this point that the people that say what I've just said, oh well, why are I doing it when I do looms now and I'm good at them now and doing all the rest of it. But if we're still not making the sales we need to make and we're still not mastering some of the things over here, why would I want to give you more work? Because we've already proven that this works without the full sales process. It works fine, yeah? So although it's confession, it's not like I've done you any harm. It's just that I've actually taken work out of it because it was too difficult to get people to do it. But now we've got people that are more advanced. It's now time to bring that into play and say, right, let's get the videos in. And there is quite a bit of work for myself, Ariana, and technical people that are in the business behind us that need to work on these businesses again to get this content into the sales process, because it looks simple, but it's not for us anyway. So again, I'm not rolling this out to over however many members we've got now. Could you imagine it? Could you imagine it, really? Trying to get everyone to do this? It'd be a fucking nightmare. So it's just not happening. And the thing is, some people that say they do it won't fucking do it. So that's why Inner Circle people, when they get access to this new part of the academy, as you can now see, there's going to be homework to do. There's going to be videos to film. There's going to be new things to put into your scorecard. There's going to be social media things to do. There's going to be different levels of thinking that need to happen now. And I'm a little bit worried that once these videos are in your sales process, and like I said before, your conversion rate is going to go up, your prices are going to go up, your sales are going to go up. There's no fucking doubt at all that the compound of these things on top of someone who's already doing stuff well anyway, someone who's already in Academy Plus and the website's gaining traction all the time, they're adding blogs, case studies, you get what I mean? And then we're adding this stuff in on top, and more social media and better quality stuff and more eyeballs on the business. There's no fucking doubt at all that this is going to send people to the next level. I hope it doesn't. Yeah, we'll have to keep our eye on it. But that's why I'm saying raise your prices to these people, or will be doing, because I don't want them thinking that more equals better. Yeah, we don't want more jobs, we just want higher paid jobs. And we need to get our pricing absolutely spot on. So yeah, what this will mean is a new email system pipeline in your CRM that will replace the current system and your customer's experience. So there will be some profound differences here. So we are working to get this content ready for you and give you the access to it for those of you that are being invited to Inner Circle for the first meeting in January, which will be 16th, I think it's the 19th of January. It's the Monday after the event. The event's on the 16th of January. The Inner Circle meeting is on the Monday. Yeah. And you've heard my views on this before. If you can't put a weekend in and have that away to really focus on your business, because the way I would be playing this is I'd be doing the event, I'd be getting everything out of my brain, I'd be implementing the things that I need to implement, I'd be organising myself over the weekend, I'd be at Inner Circle Monday, because obviously there's going to be more work to do after that. So, there will be, there's a bit to do, and this is what these people that are asking me, what's next, what we're doing next, all the rest of it, this is what's next, this is what's coming next. And for most people, what's going to happen is if you get invited to one meeting, you'll get access to this. You'll get access to all this, because it'll be modules in the academy where you film the videos, send them to us, and once we've got all the videos and we're happy with them, we'll then update your CRM and all the rest of it. So you won't need to do your sales process differently. It's just that the communications will be slightly different going out once we've got the videos off you and all the rest of it. But you'll notice a difference with the customers. You will notice the difference when you have got this in place. I guarantee it, okay? So there will be quite a bit of homework to do. In the ideal world, once you get your invite for the academy, you would get access to this. But for the first people that come in January, what's more likely to happen is that you'll get access to this just before or maybe after that meeting. So again, it is the first meeting, it is the sort of introduction to it. So, and there is some refinement going on to get ready for that. So yeah, that's where we're up to with that. And in the future, we will be giving you access to it earlier. So let us know what you think about that. Use your WhatsApp groups. Use the comments below. We'll look at your comments and reply where we need to. If you've got questions, if you've asked questions below, I haven't paid much attention to the chat because I've needed to stay focused on this. We are 1 hour, over an hour in now. So I'll leave Lee to answer your questions in the chat, and I will be in your WhatsApp groups, or if you go to the WhatsApp group link below, we'll speak to you there. If you've not got a WhatsApp group, but if you've got any general queries about any of this, do let us know. But that's Inner Circle. That's the next level. That's where it's going. And the point I was trying to make a minute ago was if you get invited to one meeting, that means that you reached a point where we recognised it and bang. So even if for whatever reason you never came back to another meeting, you would always get access to this. Once you've been invited, you get the badge. So what we will have is recognition for Inner Circle invitees, if you like, that have been recognised that they were invited to an Inner Circle meeting, because there's only 4 meetings a year at the moment, and you might not be able to make them all. Do you get what I mean? You might not want to make them all. This is where we're saying, like, if we make it strict where you need to come to every meeting, it's going to be a bit, you know what I mean? So, and plus which, then there'll be wasted seats for people that can't make it. And then, and I don't want people thinking that, I'm only fucking being invited because he did turn up. Do you get what I mean? It won't be like that. So that's why we're doing it this way, where once you get invited, you'll get access to this. Yeah, you will get access to this in the academy, and you will get the opportunity to come to a meeting and do this work basically, and go into these lessons properly and get your business moving to the next level. Because these are the things after the 12 steps, and when you get to stage 4, it doesn't mean that you don't do the 12 steps anymore. And I don't want this bollocks where, I'm in the Inner Circle now, so I only do what the Inner Circle is. No, the Inner Circle is the bit that goes on top. That's the cherry on the cake. You still have to fucking do the cake. You still have to do the stuff. It's just that now you're a bit more advanced. You're probably not on the tools anymore, and you've got more time in your hands. So you've got fucking time to do this. Now, this is where I'm saying, if you're still fitting most of the week, this is going to fucking kill you. Like, you haven't got time for this if you're not there yet. So yeah, I think that, yeah, just take it as I've said. This is for the right people at the right time, and not for the wrong people at the wrong time. Yeah, because if we give it to everyone will be like, fucking hell, I've got all that to do now, and I've not even done that. And it's like, we don't want to create that. There's enough overwhelm going on as it is. Which I fucking hate that word, as you know. But the point being is that people feel like they've got enough to do. This isn't for everyone right now. And there'll be a point where people get to a point where they're off the tools. If you're sat there going, I'd really like to do this, but you deep down know you're going to be on the tools for the next 12 months, it's probably not the right time. We're not going anywhere. Get your business going in 2026 and aim for a meeting in 2027. This is where you've got to think about things. Don't think, I need to be at the January meeting, or fucking hell, I'm going to make this. No, just chill. There'll be times where it's right and times where it's not, and sometimes it's not, and you have to accept that and just be like, right, no, but I'll work towards it if that's what I want to do, and we'll look at it in the future. And even if I don't want to open this content up to people that aren't doing the other stuff, like I've said. So even if someone's, can I do that? No. You've got to get yourself to stage 4. You've got to get yourself to where you need to be, because you can still make a successful business without this. It's just that some people want to go up a notch, and this is that up a notch bit. So that's it. Okay, that's it for tonight. Again, use your WhatsApp groups. If you've got questions, there's a link below, like I said earlier. If you don't have a WhatsApp group with us for whatever reason, use the link below, do that. I've got a bit of a sore throat now. So I'm going to call it a day. We've got the clinic next Wednesday, 7. Make sure that you get your check-ins in before 1 o'clock on Monday, because I'll need them in, so I've got time to read them before. I know last week I didn't have a lot of time to read them because I was doing other stuff, but it was a bit off the cuff. But I enjoyed that clinic, although I got a bit stressed at times. But I think everybody took the advice in the right way. Remember, everything's from a place of love and care. We just want you to do well. And, you know, I will not hide the frustration that comes out sometimes, because if it did, I wouldn't be being authentic, would I? You know, and what I've said about being authentic and people by people, you know, if I start letting people off the hook and pretend that things don't piss me off, that's me not being authentic. And that is where, you know, we none of us are perfect. I swear, get things wrong, all the rest of it. So, you know, this is just part of being ourselves and growing our businesses together. Okay. Right, cool. Right, so and like I've said, any questions, let us know. But I will see you in a couple of weeks' time on this stream, and then we'll see you on the clinic next Wednesday. All right, take care. Bye bye.